B. Welcome, and you're going to go a little bit further out with your line assignment. So again, if you're having any issues creating lines, you can go back to the line part 1 assignment on the module, on this module that R30A is working on. If you have a little bit more experience, please do this one. If you don't, you can just jump ahead and do R30A assignment and it should be fine. So again, this is more for the more advanced students. Sorry, my throat hurts. So we're gonna have to go ahead and, yeah, sometimes you do this over and over and it just, your voice gets shot. But again, we're gonna do our very best with this one. This one's pretty easy. There's this technique I really enjoy. I do enjoy a lot. And this guideline I created myself. As you can see, I created thicker and thinner lines, tapered lines, and we're just going to focus on not every line created here, but we're just going to focus on the hen. And so follow through this. And I'm just going to work on the outline, so that looks good. All right, we're going to focus on my paint and make. Okay, so after we create our lines, that's what we're going to do. So let's select the pen tool, go to properties, make sure your line is thicker, so 2 millimeters or just a little bit more. Get rid of the fill. Okay, opacity 100%. And your stroke actually should be on profile and uniform. You don't have to do this. I just think it looks nicer. You can just keep it a completely straight line. It doesn't need to be tapered, but if you want to be tapered, go ahead. It's a little bit more challenging, but again, it's really nice. Okay, so when we're doing lines like these, you don't have to follow completely. You can overlap your lines, and they can look a little strange. So let me just go ahead. For example, it's kind of like you're going to be doing a crisscross type of situation, okay? And you don't have to click here and then click here and then click here just to create a complete line. You can create multiple lines. Oh, actually, I needed two. And it creates a really cool cutout effect. And okay, so let's stretch it out. And again, this doesn't have to be perfect too. There you go. Okay, let's go ahead and continue on. Okay, let's stretch it out. So again, if you run into this issue where you accidentally get, deselect, you only have one handlebar, just go with the pen tool, click, and then drag out the handlebar, and it should be okay. So that tends to happen. Okay, we're going to try and follow some of the pattern here. Okay, and I'm going to stop here because I want this line to overlap. Okay, and I'm going to go ahead and I can start wherever I want. You don't have to start on the path. You don't have to press shift and start on the path, because sometimes overlapping lines look a lot better that way, especially for more complicated shapes. Curves. It looks way nicer. Trust me on this. Once we get into tapering, it should look way better. But again, you don't have to taper your lines. Okay, there you go. Okay. Now we're going to go finish this section. Oh, actually, we should do this section too. So let's try and complete this section. And yeah, I'm going to go ahead and finish as quick as possible. Yeah, so it's going to look a little messy. Okay, and then I'm going to overlap here. And then press P for pen. This makes it a lot easier to go faster, honestly. I can go a lot faster because I'm not worried about the anchor points that are going to be meeting in the middle. It tends to affect the integrity of your whole piece if you're just worried about clicking and clicking and clicking and then making sure these meet perfectly, and then they're going to create a pointed shape. So yeah, it does feel like it looks weirder that way. There you go. All right, so we're just going to go pretty fast with this one. And again, you don't have to focus on the details. If you want to do that, feel free to do so. Okay, so we're going to do the same thing. We're not going to go. I'm going to press A or escape, and then press P for pen tool on your keyboard. So see, much better. Let me do escape. Actually, there you go. You have to, for my keyboard, you have to press escape a lot, so I like to use A a lot. It really does depend. Okay, and this one actually I'm going to press Alt because I'm going to have it to be flat. There you go. And I'm going to not worry about this one too much. Press P. I feel like I can go a lot faster if I do this technique. Delete it. There you go. Again, this is just for Art30B students. If you're an Art30A student, please don't attempt this because it's a little, it's a little tricky. Also, if you are in Art30B, I really want you guys to focus on the foundations of this program. I don't want you guys to go ahead and jump into Art30B. And it does mess up my queue, my grading queue, because I'm trying to grade, and when I see you posting in Art30B and you're not in Art30B, it's going to throw off my whole grading system because I can't see on Canvas. It's not your fault. It really isn't. It's just how the whole program works, and it just takes me longer to grade because I'm not sure. I keep clicking on the same thing over and over. Oops, actually, I pressed the wrong one. So again, it's not your fault. It's just something that makes it difficult for me to grade or just to look at people's work. So if you're in Art30B right now, I really highly recommend to click out of this video and don't worry about it. If you want to try this, feel free to do so. You're free to do whatever you want with this. But the thing is, you don't turn it in to Art30B. Just keep it to yourself. Okay, is that all right? You can completely do that. You could just keep it to yourself, or let me know and I can give you extra credit. That's completely fine. Just don't turn it in to Art30B because again, it just messes up my whole queue, my grading queue, and yeah, it takes me longer to grade, and that's not good. Okay, there you go. So I'm trying to be nitpicky every time I do that when I start talking a lot. So, because I end up hyper focusing when I talk. Okay, there you go. I'm just not going to worry about this one. I'm going to go ahead and overlap. That happens. And I'm not going to worry too much about how it looks at the moment. This is just for demo's sake. And next week we're going to do clockwork. So next week, no, not next week, the week after we're going to do curvatures. And then the week after, we're going to do clockwork method. And clockwork method, we're going to go ahead and work with Art30B on that one too. So it's Art30A and Art30B assignments. So you guys get to work on the same assignment on that one. And again, Art30B can work on other assignments. That's completely fine. From Art30A, just let me know if you feel like you want to try again. Okay, there you go. I'm not happy with how the curvature looks on this one. I'm going to go ahead and jump out. And Art30B, I think at this point you are working on creating not textures and patterns. Not patterns. No, you did patterns last time, so it was the textures that you're working on. Okay, so at this point you already have your story, and then you're setting up your shapes, or you're trying to fix your illustration. Again, if you run into any issues, if you're confused by anything, please let me know. Okay, there you go. Okay, I'm just gonna let this go because I'm gonna go crazy. Okay, there you go. All right, and then we're gonna go ahead and we're not gonna do the little details right here. We're just gonna keep it simple on the outline. If you feel like you have extra time, feel free to do the little extra details. That would be cool, but again, it all really depends on what you're working on in your project, because sometimes I feel like, especially in Illustrator, that if you have assignments and projects, it feels like a lot of work, or it just feels overwhelming because it's such a hard program to work with. It takes a lot of practice. Even I need to keep practicing just to remember certain things, or just not to feel stagnated, or depends on my style, honestly, or what I feel. So see right here, I'm struggling with my anchor points because I'm not keeping them straight. So I think this one is actually getting in the way. So yeah, it's this one I don't really like, so I might have to add another one or just turn it. There you go. Yes, I'm not happy with this one, so I'm going to delete it and try again. So even I have to consider practicing all the time, and okay. And actually, yes, okay, so I do have to stretch this out. So this is much better, okay. So it's, again, there, much better. Okay, so yeah, I have to practice and remember certain things. So it's not an easy program because they keep adding all this stuff, but honestly, it's so rewarding. Once you know this program, you can probably feel confident conquering other programs. Like, there's so many things you can do with this one. You can get hired so fast. This will help you become a graphic designer, hands down. This will help you become an illustrator. This will help you, get any job, because everybody wants someone who knows how to do flyers. Everybody wants someone who can do these things for them. Granted, they might not pay you. Let's say if you happen to be a secretary, you're working at a nonprofit or something like that, they might just tell you to do it as a favor, and you can just go ahead and tell them, like, I'll do it for a fee, or if you pay me, because that's a service you didn't hire me for, right? So when that happens, just let them know, like, hey, you didn't hire me for this. It was not on our contract, or something like that, because it does happen. Or if you want to use it as practice, go ahead. It's all up to you. Okay, actually, I'm going to. But it's really helpful to learn this program. And just spending time just getting better and better at it is so worth it. There you go. See, so this is what happens when I'm talking about overlapping shapes. It just creates this little weird notch that I'm never really happy with. And there you go. Even for overlapping lines, like, even if I do stretch it out, it still looks really wonky. But again, we're going to leave it like that, like time's sakes, for time's sakes. Okay, so we have our chicken. Let's select it. Again, if you want to have it tapered, feel free to do that. Look how much nicer it looks. So if you want to taper, remember, go to stroke, profile, and then go to with profile one. So go to the first one. You can also choose this one. I like this one too a lot. It's just going to make your lines a little bit thinner. Okay. So again, you don't worry if you see the little lines here. That's completely fine. And also, I'm going to move the stroke. Okay, there you go. Look how beautiful it looks already. So the Miss Chicken is having a great time. I'm going to actually do the wing just so she won't look too awkward. And trust me, this is going somewhere. And I'm sure you're thinking right now, like, hey, that was a very specific antidote or story you were telling about working at a nonprofit. And they're making you create a flyer. And I'm like, yeah, it's very specific. I do agree. I just don't worry too much about that. Don't think too hard about it. Um, and again, they're not always nonprofits. It could be just be a small business owner. That's always great. Just remember to get compensated, and you'll become a professional. Once you get paid, you're a professional. And your skills deserve that. Okay, so let's go ahead and taper. Let's go this one, the one on the very bottom. You can also go to the one on the very top. You can experiment with each one. That's completely fine. Okay, and actually I'm going to make this one a little bit thicker. No. Let's see how it looks thicker. No. Let's go back to the same width as the other one. Okay, so here's the fun part. I'm going to get rid of this. I'm going to press Control Alt and 2. And I'm just going to get rid of it. I'm going to move it to the side. Again, just in case. I don't want to get rid of it completely. You don't have to. And don't forget to save while you're at it. Okay, so this is where the fun begins. And you can also change the color if you want. So let's go ahead and do like a nice dark brown. I'm a big fan of that. All right, let me zoom out a little bit. Okay, so you have your chicken shape. Great. If you've done more shapes, that's completely fine. You could do the little feathers here. That's completely, well, it's all up to you. Okay, so next we're going to go to Object. Pay close attention. You can write it down on a pad. I highly recommend that. Expand appearance. So expanding appearance kind of just turns everything into a shape, right? But also cuts certain things off. But not yet, because it hasn't done that yet. Or has it? No. So when you expand appearance, it's just expanding the appearance. And then you're going to go to Object again, Live Paint, and Make. Okay, great. Now you're going to have to go to Object, Expand. Okay, so this is where, make sure all of these are checked out. So Object, Fill, and Stroke are completely checked in. Press OK. And that's where you deselect. All right, so just remember with the selection tool, once you click on a shape or a line or a path, it's going to select the whole entire thing. You can ungroup, so you can right click on a line and ungroup. It's still going to select the entire thing. So what you're going to do is go to Direct Select tool on your toolbar and start selecting the lines that overlap right here. So I'm going to click on these ones. And I'm going to go ahead and press backspace or delete on your keyboard, and there you go. So what you've created is, I'm just going to go ahead and do nice cleaner edges. You can keep it like this for some. You don't really have to get rid of them all. So I'm going to get rid of this one and this one and both. How beautiful that is. I'm going to keep that one actually, because that looks really nice. And I'm going to keep one of this. You get to choose. Make it, when you do this kind of technique, make it as simple as possible. Just start off really simple and then complicate it a little bit more the more practice you have. Okay, actually I'm going to go ahead and, sometimes you might get runaway anchors, but that's completely fine. That's very rare. I'm going to get rid of this one. This one does not belong there. Okay, there you go. And for this one, I'm going to get rid of this one. And this one, oops. Yeah, be careful where you select. There you go. Yeah, sometimes you run into issues with selections. That's interesting. Yeah, I think this one got a little wonky, but you can always fix it, so that's completely fine. Okay, so this one, do. So I'm gonna have to fix this one in a bit, but we can always see. Maybe it was just the wrong line. You can always go back to your knife tool if that's the case and just carve it out. Where is the knife tool? Here you go. So it's under scissors, knife, zoom in a little bit more, and then just carve it out. So that might also be an issue, and you can always adjust the anchor points on the very end. And if that happens, go to view and get rid of the smart guide. Again, the smart guide is great, but also it's not helpful when you're trying to connect or move an anchor point. There you go. And there, I think I accidentally did something here, something weird. That's okay. Okay, there you go. A lot smoother. So I fixed that really quickly, surprisingly quickly. Usually it just takes me a little longer, but there you go. You can actually get rid of this one and then this one. There you go. Much better. And then I have these guys. Look how much nicer that looks. Like, look, so quickly. Okay, there you go. And I got all these lines in here, and I got all these lines in here, and I got all these lines in here. Okay, we're not done yet. Surprisingly. And then also, once you do this, make another copy. And you know, okay, so even before you go ahead and press Alt hard enough, I guess. Okay, so Alt. There you go. Even when you have it still as a line or path, always make a copy too. I didn't make a copy, but before you expand appearance and create live space, make a copy on the side with it's just lines and paths. And then you know, always have multiple copies, because what happens is a lot of times you might want to fix something kind of like what I did here. If you're not that experienced with fixing things, you can always go back and fix it as a line rather than a shape. It's a lot faster, I think. And you can always expand again once you fixed it. Okay, so we're not done here. I'm going to select everything. We're going to go to Object, Live Paint again, and Make. Okay, so Live Paint is a wonderful, wonderful thing. And the reason is, okay, I'm going to click red. We're going to make it a little red hen. The reason is you can just, it's like the paint bucket tool. And I don't think I see it here. Sometimes I see it. If you don't see it again, you could always go to Edit Toolbar. And let's find Live Paint. It used to be on the toolbar a lot. Or, oh, here you go. So you go to Live Paint, and then just drop it off anywhere. It's completely fine. Okay, and then we're just gonna, I think it's closing, right? Let's go to normal mode. All right, just deselect it. Okay, so now we have Live Paint. And look at here. So it gives you options of filling your shapes. So let's go to the comb and drop it there. And then you could also go to over here. If the cool thing about Light Paint is when you go to your keyboard and then you're going to go to your up, down, side to side, left and right arrows right there, it allows you, let me zoom in, it's just so cool. This is new. It allows you to change the values and the coloring. So I'm going to go ahead and press the right arrow key. It's going to create a more orange, turn her into a buff. It's going to go to the more orange side. If you're going to go to the left key, it's going to go to the more pink blue side. So it follows the color wheel. Isn't that brilliant? I love it. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and fill her in. Okay, and this one's going to be more yellow. So I'm going to go ahead and press yellow. Actually, the beak's going to be really yellow. And this one's going to be red also. Let's go. And then this is going to be black. So black is kind of hard to, let's go to this light brown. whichever you like. You could, there you go. And you can do the same with the lines, but that's going to take a lot longer because you're going to have to go to every single line. Let me just undo it again. I think I accidentally, there you go. Let's do red again. I accidentally chose so this is going to be red. Yes, the line by accident. Okay, so let's go red. Let's go to orange. Make her orange. We're going to go to red again for this one. We're going to go to yellow. And I'm going to go ahead and go black or dark brown for this one. Yes. And click on that. Okay, and then what I'm going to do is deselect by just selecting the selection tool, and look at this. Amazing, easy. It's like so fast. You don't have to create multiple shapes and overlaps and stuff. This is it. This is akin to, again, the shape builder tool. It's brilliant. I love it so much. So you guys can go ahead and create your chicken from this one. You can, also if you want to create the flowers, any other details, feel free to do that. This design I'm going to turn into a sticker eventually, but again, you know, this is just for class right now. And this is the one that I think really works well for curvature. If you want to use a different reference, feel free to do so. You don't have to use a chicken. You can just get rid of, you know, you can use your own drawing. If you have a drawing, if you have any doodles, feel free to do that. This is just for me to show you guys what, you know, you can do, right? So it doesn't have to be the chicken, right? Okay. All right, guys, that's it for now. If you have any questions, please email me at mail.fresnostate.edu, or a Remind is a lot faster. It doesn't have that many letters, so go through Remind. If you want, again, if you're having issues with your grade, I'm looking at grades and I'm realizing that there are issues with submissions and me submitting your grades. So if you don't see me, if you see me commenting on something and you don't see a grade, it's an issue that's been happening. I've been noticing it. So if that happens, please let me know right away. I'm looking through every single thing just in case by my own. So hopefully that's already been taken care of. All right. Okay. That's it for now. And thank you guys so much for joining me today. And please turn this in. All right. And again, let me know if you have any issues, and I'll talk to you guys later. Okay. Bye.